So just real quick, I'm going to go over to my phone is ringing, but I'm not going to answer it right now. Let's see. The key thing, the key piece of information that you need to highlight, you need to copy, you need to save it somewhere is when you open up SQL Server Management Studio, you are going to have a server name. You want to copy your server name and save it somewhere. Do you have to save it? You don't, because you can always come back over and click connect and it'll open up and it'll show you what the server name is. Or when you open SQL Server Management Studio, it'll show you what your server name is. But when you connect to Power BI and you go get data in Power BI from SQL Server, you're going to need to know the server name. And basically, this is your server name. So this is my server name here. I'm going to connect, and when I connect over to the left, you're going to see I have databases, and I am going to go to AdventureWorks 2012. I'm going to go to tables, and I'll click new query just so I'll be able to access, and I need to make sure that I'm here in the AdventureWorks 2012 data. This is not going to be a course to where we're going to learn SQL. There's some very basic SQL scripts that you're going to need to know. I'll be going over those SQL scripts as we go throughout the course, but having a pretty good understanding, a good knowledge of SQL is going to help you definitely in the long run when it comes to your jobs. Some jobs you'll never need to have, never need to use SQL, and some jobs you're going to need SQL all the time. Those that require SQL, they're going to be a little bit higher on the pay scale. That to give you some idea, your first job could be somewhere around 90,000 to 100,000. If it's requiring SQL, typically, you can probably negotiate somewhere between 115 to 120. That's just to give you an idea of what that looks like if you need to use SQL. Now, but I'm not going to be going too deep into this. As we go through the course, I'll be giving you some very basic SQL queries to use, and they're going to be able to take you a long ways. But bottom line is, this is what you're going to be looking at if you're inside of SQL Server Management Studio. And let's just say that we want to write a very basic SQL query. Select star from, and let's grab sales tax rate table. And let's see, AdventureWorks 2012, what's going on here? Oh, you know what? Let's see. AdventureWorks 2012, that table is not in this database. Is that correct? You see AdventureWorks 2012. Let's just grab something else. See what's going on. And this is the kind of stuff you run up against when you are starting. You just got to figure out some things, see why it's not working. AdventureWorks 2012. So I was actually using the wrong one. I was actually in AdventureWorks DW, which is in AdventureWorks Data Warehouse, but I should have been in AdventureWorks 2012. And those are things that's very common when you are in data analytics. Sometimes there's some very basic functions that you need to be aware of, and you weren't aware and you didn't do it. So you just got to make sure you go back in and say, hey, what happened? Why is this wrong? And I should have known something was wrong, because up here under, I forgot which, I got at sales, whichever table I pulled from, it had a red squiggly line. So I should have known at that point that it wasn't going to work. But I was just moving too fast. But bottom line is, this is the table that I'm playing with here now. and let's see, that's production.location. So as we see in production.location, the columns are location ID, name, cost rate, availability, and modified date. If I come over and let's see, I want to come back to Power BI. I just want to show you the columns that were in there. Now I'm going to go into, let me come out just so you can see what I did, what I'm doing here. I'm going to go to get data. I am going to SQL Server. I've got to place my server name in here. Let's see. I don't think I copied my server name. So now I've got to go back over to SQL Server Management Studio. Just real quick, I do understand that everyone is not going to be interested in Power BI, but you're out there looking for a tech solution, a tech opportunity for you to get into, the way you can make that career change, that career pivot. So for those of you guys that are out there that are into looking for that tech change, I do have a free 30-day calendar, a 30-day calendar. As you can see here, it's 30-day. Well, it's not a 30-day calendar. It's a 30-day tech transition planner. And it gives you day by day for 30 days, day 1 through day 30, to where you can use these steps in order to determine what tech venture you may want to get into. So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. If you're interested in this free 30-day calendar that I have, just go to the link below the link below in this video, and just click the link, follow the link, and we will get you over the 30-day tech transition planner. Just wanted to take a quick break to let you know that. Now let's get back over to the webinar. Oops, I'm already inside of SQL Server Management Studio. How do I pull my information up? I am going to hit the little chord icon, and I'm going to highlight my server name, Control C. I'm going to go back to Power BI. In the server, I'm going to hit Control V, my server name. The database is optional. Depending on what the project you're working on, you may need the database name. You may not need the database name. And now it gives me the list of databases I have. It's giving me my table. And which table was I looking at? I was looking at production.location. So just to show you that the same table is going to come in, or we're going to get data. Looks like I'm in my views. I'm going to go to production.location. Uh-oh. I'm going to production.location. I check production.location. As you can see here, these are the same columns that were in my SQL Server. So what I'm doing is I'm getting data and I'm pulling those columns in, and I am going to select load. I could click load and transform. We will talk about load and transform, or transforming in a future topic. But for today, in today's lesson, we're just really trying to understand how to get data. And we're getting data from SQL Server, and we're getting data from a CSV file. And as I come up here, you can see in my data, these are the columns that were brought in from that table. Another way we can get data, now, you don't have to just, you can have multiple sources of data in a Power BI file. It does not matter. As long as Power BI is able to get data from that source, you can bring multiple sources of data in. So what we're going to do here is we're going to also bring in a CSV file. Let's see, my computer was not logged into my USB. So I'm gonna go get data. I'm coming down to CSV, and I'm going to, I think I have it in my data analytics, and Power BI, and I have sample data. I'm going to bring in my UK bank data. These are the files that are on my CSV file. I'm going to bring that in, and I'm going to hit load. So as you can see, you don't just have to load, you don't just have to get data from one source, and you can get data from multiple sources. You can get data from multiple sources in Power BI. Whatever Excel, CSV, Dataverse, data flows, you can get multiple data from multiple sources in Power BI. And as you can see here, you can see all the tables in the UK file. You can see all the columns in the UK table, and you can see all the columns in the SQL Server table. And as I told you before, or as I said before, it doesn't matter where you're bringing the data in from. Once you bring that data in, that all that data is treated. You can treat the data the same way. Now, you may not treat the data the same way because you have to clean the data, or you may have to do some different things in order to work with the data that you want to work, how you want to work with it. And that's called cleaning the data. And we'll talk about cleaning the data further or later on in this course. But right now, this was just to give you some idea that you can work with multiple sources of data. And again, get data is how you bring data into Power BI. Sources are the places where you get data. So data sources are the places where you get data. Our data sources here were SQL Server, and our sources here were SQL Server and the CSV file. Another thing that's very important is making sure you understand where your what the name of your SQL Server is. And here mine is found here under SQL Server name. So with that said, this has been class number 2. This has been class number 2 for the assignment. Hopefully you were able to download SQL Server Management Studio. If not, shoot me an Instagram message. And if we don't have the Facebook group set up before then, but if not, shoot me an Instagram message at Terod Robertson, and I will attempt to create a Zoom so that we could make sure that you understand, or make sure that you get your SQL Server Management Studio set up. Hopefully you got your Power BI desktop downloaded and set up. If you were not able to get your Power BI desktop downloaded and set up, please shoot me an Instagram message at Terod Robertson, and I will try to get a Zoom set up so that we can get on the horn and make sure that you're not feeling like you're getting behind, or there's something that you're missing because you're not understanding the basics of just downloading the desktop or downloading SQL Server Management Studio. With that said, I hope you enjoyed this class, and I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Have a good day.